like you had, and borders and low taxes that are strong. We want strong borders. We want low taxes. We want low interest rates. We want to be respected throughout the world, not laughed at. We're laughed at. You know, I said in a speech recently, somebody said, what do you think about Xi? I said, he's a very powerful, strong man. He's at the top of his game. The fake news media said, how dare they say that? I said, what am I going to say? He controls 1.5 billion people. No, he's not at the top of his game. The same thing with other leaders. They're sharp. They're smart. They're at the top of their game. We're the only one that has one that's not. And he's not close. And he never really had a top of the game if you go back 25 years. In this week's big morning consult poll, that's another big one, Trump is leading by 37 points. And last week's, I don't know if you've seen these, Steve. These are good numbers. Makes Steve's job easy. Don't assume that, Steve. Just keep working, because under the Clarity campaign poll, a big one, I lead by 45 points at 65, with DeSantis being at 20%, Pence at 4%, Nikki Haley at 4%, and sloppy Chris Christie at less than 1%. Which, by the way, is substantially better than he did 7 years ago on the same stage against me right here in New Hampshire. Remember, he was less than 1%. So now he's still less than 1%, but he's doing much better, you know. Got a big mouth, that's all he's got. In Massachusetts, your neighbor, 70% for Trump. And in the Florida Voice poll, this is Florida we're talking about, 80% for Trump, 80. In a great place, South Carolina, we have a 22-point lead. In the victory poll of Iowa, it's Trump 54, DeSantis at 24. And in the new JL poll of New Hampshire, we're 33 points. Think of that one. 33 points up. I just saw that. That's pretty good. You're doing a good job, Steve. You're doing a good job. We're at 51% with all these people running, all these people. 51, we're up 33 points, but we will not play prevent defense. You ever see the NFL? They hold a team scoreless for almost 4 quarters. They just have to do it one more time, one more series, and they say, we're going to go prevent. Touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. We don't play prevent defense. It prevents you from winning. Prevent defense prevents you from winning. That's the worst defense. I don't like it. When I see if you're with a team and they go prevent, say, bet on the opponent. And then they want to do something on the debates. Think of this. They want to debate. They want to have, I have people at 1/2 of 1%, 1/4 of 1%.
Tech teams run on Notion. Imagine one place where you can find the product team's documentation.
So he failed in his campaign. Then I endorsed him, which I could have done without, but I endorsed him and he went up a lot. But he went up and he won. But when he campaigned for a long time, he failed. And now he's failing again, because now he's getting a chance to campaign without Trump, to put it mildly. To put it mildly. But so these debates, you know, Nixon and Reagan and Bush #1, others. No, they didn't debate in the primaries. They didn't debate. I mean, seriously, you look at the boards and you see these things, 1%, 1%, 2%, 1%, 3%. And you're looking at these numbers and we're at 60 and 70%. Why would you do that? You want intelligent people, don't you, to be running your country? But I do look forward to the debate with Joe. No, corrupt. With Crooked Joe. No, I look forward to that. Remember last time I said, where and why did you accept $3.5 million? Remember that? Why did you accept, on the debate stage, I had that guy, Chris Wallace. How's he doing? How's his career going? I don't, not too good. He always wanted to be his father, Mike, but somehow it didn't work out. It's called lack of talent. But think of this. Think of this. Remember in the debate stage, I said to Biden, I said, why did you accept $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow's wife? And Chris Wallace, he didn't know how to answer the question. Chris Wallace said, you shouldn't be asking that question. I said, has a lot to do. Why did he get $3.5 million from Moscow? He didn't do anything for it. And Chris Wallace stopped him from giving an answer, which he didn't have, by the way. Saved him. They want me to go to the Reagan Library as an example, which is, nobody knew this until I brought it up yesterday, which is run by a guy named Fred Ryan. He is the chairman and CEO of the Washington Post. Can you believe it? This could only happen. The Washington Post, the enemy of the people, the Washington Post, think of this, is running the Reagan Library. I think Ronald Reagan would be spinning in his grave, okay? But you say, how did that happen? But they want me to go. And sadly, your governor, Sununu, doesn't register. No, sort of a nasty, isn't he a nasty guy? You know, it's funny, his father was very, very tough. But when I won, he became one of my best supporters. He really was. He really was great. But he was really tough. This guy doesn't have the same qualities. But you know what? You think of it. He could have run. He could have had a Senate seat. Would have helped so much. You know, he's playing games. But Sununu, if you take a look at what he's done, it's crazy. We're leading him, I guess, 58% to 7 in your state. You saw the poll. 58 to 7. And now if he ran for the Senate, he probably couldn't win even, you know, if you put him back in that same position. But he could have really made an impact. He could have run for the Senate, would have probably easily won because of the family name, would have won. And that would have been a tremendous thing. Instead, he wants to play games with running for president where he's registered at less than 1%. I don't think he's going to make it. If he made it, it would be the biggest upset in the history of politics. Any country will include every single country all over the world. And he should stop being a nasty guy and telling people that I won't win in the general election, which I will. Remember? Speaking of which, we're leading Biden by 7 points in Rasmussen poll. We're leading him by 7 points in the Harvard poll, Harvard-Harris, and by 11 points in another poll. And by the way, the same people that said the same thing in 2016, well, maybe he'll win here, but he's not going to win in the general election. They love that. That's the only narrative they have left. But we're winning against everybody, and we're doing just as well in the general election. But it was the same people. I went in and I said, boy, I get killed in this. They say, he's not going to win in the election. And then I won. And then I won a second time by far more votes, but it was a rigged election. So, you know, what are you going to do? And that's the thing I asked Steve and all the people up here, because these are incredible people. I don't even care if you help me campaign. You don't have to help me. What I want you to do is help me on election evening, which is no longer election evening. It's election period. Because these people have like a month and 2 months to look around and play around with the votes. How people let this happen. We got to go to all paper ballots, voter ID, same day voting, one day. How about some of these guys? The votes aren't final until 2 weeks after the election. You say, how do you tabulate the result? What do everybody wait? The nation waits? It's a disgrace what's happened. And I asked the people on stage, and we have a lot of people in the audience that are great politicians and very important for your state, I don't want help. I don't even want help with the vote. I just want help on making sure the vote is cast and counted fairly. You know, Lenin, did anyone ever hear of Lenin? He said, the vote counter is far more important than the candidate. Has anyone ever heard that? Lenin, as they say in Russia. But no, the vote counter is far more important. It's very sad. We did so unbelievable. We got more votes than any sitting president by far. We got millions of more votes than Barack Hussein Obama. I was told if we got the same number, we can't lose. We got millions more, millions and millions more. Well, we thought we won until about 10:15 in the evening. Then all of a sudden we said, what's going on here? Now we gotta straighten out our borders, gotta straighten out our elections, because we're like a third world country. These incredible poll numbers are one of the main reasons that the Marxist left is coming after us, using the criminal justice system for massive election interference. That's what they're doing. They want to weaponize law enforcement to interfere with our elections through the use of the DOJ and the FBI, attorney generals, and local district attorneys who actually, the district attorney we have in New York, he's reporting into Washington. They sent one of the top guys from Washington to help him run his office. That's beautiful. Isn't it a wonderful life? But in the end, they're not coming after me. They're coming after you, and I'm just standing in their way. I'm just standing. I will always stand in their way. But we can't let that happen, because that's going to a lower level even than what happened in 2020. That's going, in my opinion, to a lower level that even happened in 2020. And they're working on, I got more DAs and local people nobody ever heard of. We want the president in to testify on what? I have nothing to do with it. Well, we want him in anyway. To testify. Maybe he'll make a mistake. Maybe he'll do something. It's a disgrace. What's happening with our country is a disgrace, and it's a laughingstock all over the world. As the endless witch hunts and persecutions reveal, our enemies are desperate to stop us because they know we are the only ones who can stop them. They know that. There's never been a movement like this. By the way, in the history of our country, there's never been a movement like MAGA, Make America Great Again. There's never been a movement. We've never had a movement. And with all of the, I'm looking, it's a lot of fake news. With all of the news back there, nobody's ever questioned it. You know, if I say something and I'm like slightly off, they say, oh, he made a mistake. He this, that, you know, these people. I've never been challenged. I say it all the time. Are you hearing me? There's never been a movement in history like MAGA, Make America Great Again. But unlike other politicians, the harder our enemies hit me, the stronger and more determined we are. And that's as a party and as a movement itself. They hit me and we're all together. I'm with you, you're with me. And the harder they hit, the better we do. You saw that a couple of weeks ago with these fakers. In recent months, I've been laying out a bold, forward-looking vision for what we will do when we become the 47th president of the United States. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, shortly after I win the presidency, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled. It would have never happened. That war would have. I spoke to Putin about it. There was no chance that he would have gone in with me as president, and there was no chance that President Xi of China would have gone into Taiwan. I was the only president in decades who didn't start a war. You know that. Everyone said, oh, he's going to start a war because they said I had that personality to start a war. They remember that? Oh, we can't vote for him. He's going to start a war. No, I used my personality that we didn't have to have wars. And I got out of wars, including knocking the hell out of ISIS, took over 100% of the ISIS caliphate. 100%. I took over 99% of the ISIS caliphate. I said, all right, we're going home. Let's get our great soldiers. We're bringing them home. And the media started saying, well, why not 100? I said, you know what? We better finish it off because they'll say I left early and we knocked the hell out of them. That was the end of that. We took over 100%. We came home. But now I understand they're rebuilding again because they have no respect for our country. Standing before you today, I am the only candidate who can make this promise. I will prevent World War III. I promise. It's not going to be a World War III. And very sadly, there's never been talk like what you're hearing now, because this guy doesn't have a clue how to speak. He's too tough when he should be soft. He's too soft when he should be tough. He says things that are so bad, provokes, and then shows weakness. It's the craziest thing. He says just the opposite of what you have to say. I know Putin very well. I know Xi very well. I know Kim Jong-un. If I didn't take over from Obama, if he had another year, you would have had a nuclear war with Kim Jong-un of North Korea. You would have had a nuclear war. Then when I got along with him, everyone hated. The fake news hated that I got along. He gets along. Isn't it a good thing to get along with a guy with 5,000 nuclear weapons? That's okay. But I did get along with him. I got along with a lot of people that people are surprised, really surprised. That's why we had no wars, and they would have never gone in. And it's so all those people dead in Ukraine, far more than you think, far more than they report. These phony numbers where a city is blown up, buildings all crushed to the ground, there's nothing standing, and they say nobody was killed, 2 people were hurt. Hundreds of people, thousands of people were killed. These numbers are far greater and far worse than you hear. When I get back into the Oval Office, we will totally obliterate the deep state. We will establish a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to declassify and publish all documents on deep state spying, censorship, and corruption. By the way, they spied on my campaign. They got caught. Can you imagine if let's take Barack Hussein Obama, let's say we spied on his campaign, you got caught. What do you think would happen? You think it would just be some stories in only a few newspapers, because most of them don't even want to write it. They would have brought back the electric chair. That's what they would have done. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace, unequal justice. And I will require every federal employee to pass a new civil service test. How about the president? Let's start with the president. Demonstrating an understanding of our Constitution. To stop the local Marxist prosecutors who release rapists and murderers while persecuting conservatives. On day 1 of my new administration, I will direct the DOJ to investigate every radical district attorney and attorney general in America for their illegal, racist, and reverse enforcement of the law. I will quickly restore the most secure border in U.S. history, just as we had 3 years ago. We had the strongest, most powerful, most secure border in the history of our country. 3 years ago, we had the most secure. We built hundreds of miles of wall. It worked, by the way. Then we were going to do 200 more miles of wall in certain areas where we could see it was a little weaker than we wanted it. We started that. Could have been finished in 3 weeks if he did it. We had the stuff ordered. He took it away and hid it so that Texas and Arizona couldn't use it. And that's what I said. I guess they really do want open borders, and they actually want open borders, and nobody understands why. Why do you want to have people from prisons? Why do they want that? Why do you want people from prisons and mental institutions and insane asylums? That's a step above. That's Silence of the Lamb type, okay? Why do we want these people in our country? Why are we allowing them? And you know, you have to see these other countries. They are, I mean, they've never had it so good. Their prisons are emptied out into the U.S. They have no more costs. They don't want to take care of these people for 70 years, which is what you could have. I mean, they have this MS-13. You saw what happened yesterday with this killer, this thug. He was an MS-13. The level of violence, they called it demonic. The level of violence is incredible. We have become a dumping ground for the entire world. The money they save, no prisons, no mental institutions. There was a story recently about a psychologist or psychiatrist, but a psychologist who worked in mental wards in South America. And he said, I worked 24, a good man, he worked 24 hours a day taking care of very mentally ill people. And he was sitting there reading a newspaper, and they asked him, what's he doing? He said, I have no more work. The people have all been let go into the United States. Can you believe this is what we're doing?
Building your online business? Go to Wix.com and
how stupid are we? This is what we're doing. And this you pay for. I mean, sure, we can get a lot of them out, but this is what we're paying for. And the crime, you have not seen anything. Wait till you see this. But he said they've let them go in the United States. But this is not true with the 3 or 4 countries that we think of, Honduras and Mexico, El Salvador. This isn't just that little area. This is all over the world. They're letting them in from all over the world. They're coming in. They're coming through the southern border, and we had it stopped up. One of the very first bills I signed will be for a massive increase in Border Patrol and colossal increase in the number of ICE deportation officers. We're going to follow the Eisenhower model. People don't realize it with Eisenhower. He was very tough on illegal immigration. A lot of people don't realize that. He was really tough on illegal immigration. We will use all necessary state, local, federal, and military resources to carry out the largest domestic deportation operation in American history. And they'll take them back, too. You know that story. They weren't taking them back, and I said, good, if they don't take, they weren't taking them back for decades. And the generals came up to, sure, they won't take them back, sir. And I said, well, do we give them any money, like any kind of subsidies or anything? Yes, sir, I'd like to find out. So it comes back $750 million. Yes, 750. So I said, listen, the 3 countries. I said, no more money for them starting this afternoon at 5 o'clock. The next morning, I got 3 calls from 3 presidents of 3 countries. Nice people. They're smart. I don't hold it against them. They got away with it for years. They'd put airplanes on the runways when we're flying in with prisoners or MS-13 people that you don't want in this country. Believe me, these are vicious, the most violent gang in the world, probably, almost definitely. And they'd put airplanes so you couldn't land the plane. So I said, how much? 750. I said, here's what we're doing. Immediately, you're going to stop payment of all money going to these countries. You're going to stop payment now. Next day, I get 3 calls. The presidents of those countries, separate calls, totally. Sir, I understand there's a misunderstanding. Yeah. We want your MS-13 killers that you sent over here. We want them back. And we want everybody to go back to your country. We want them. We're going to bring them back. Sir, we'd be honored to take MS-13 back. We think they're lovely people. What seems to be the problem? No, we would love to take them back. Immediately opened up. Nobody has seen that for 25 years. It took me one night. We would be honored. It would be a great honor to bring back MS-13 so they can kill our people instead of yours. No, it's terrible. The people that run our country are stupid people. I will ask every state and federal agency to identify every known or suspected gang member in America. And by the way, our police are incredible. Our firemen are incredible. Our police are incredible. And you know what? They know the bad ones. They're in the cities. These Democrat-run cities are going to hell. The whole world is watching. But these police are incredible. They know the bad ones, but they don't want to lose their pension. They don't want to lose their wife or their husband. They don't want to lose their home. So they're told to stand back. But they know every bad one. They know everything about it. But I'll ask every state and federal agency to identify every known or suspected gang member in America, and every one of them that is here illegally. The police know every one of them. We'll pick them up and we'll send them back home where they came from. They'll be out of here. And I will restore my travel ban to keep radical Islamic terrorists out of our country. You saw what happened. 4 years. 4 years we went. 4 years. You saw that, right? We were very tough on that. We don't want our buildings blown up. We don't want to have problems. The Biden border crisis is also a drug and fentanyl crisis and a human trafficking crisis like never before, mostly with women, very sadly, mostly with women. And it's now the number is 12 times what it was 3 years ago, 12 times. We had it really down. We were so tough on that, what they do with women and to women. Under my administration, we reduced drug overdose deaths in New Hampshire by 18%. 18. And our First Lady worked very hard on that, I will tell you. She worked very hard on that. And instead of being down under Biden, as you know, and your police and firemen do an incredible job, you have a real big drug problem in New Hampshire, incredible, almost worse than anybody, relatively speaking. That's what the governor should focus on, not running for president where he's at less than 1%. That's what he should focus on. But you have a real problem here, and I have to tell you, your police and your firemen, I spent time with them, and they took me around one day, and the job they do on saving people, a lot of the job they do is saving people that have overdosed. It's incredible. The drug cartels are waging war in America, and it's time that America is going to wage war. That's what we're going to do. We're going to wage war on the cartels. We're being invaded. Our country is being invaded and destroyed. I will knock out the cartels just as we destroyed and knocked out the ISIS caliphate. The ISIS caliphate is tougher. I was told you couldn't do it it would take 3 to 4 years to do it. And sir, I don't think we could do it at all. I did it in 3 weeks. I knocked them out in 3 weeks. We have great generals. I want not the guys on television that leave Afghanistan before they take out our equipment and our American citizens, where we lost 13 great people. And nobody ever says this, where many soldiers were just obliterated. Their arms, their legs, their face obliterated because of people that didn't know how to do their job. And why aren't these people fired? Why aren't they fired? And I will ask Congress to pass legislation ensuring that drug dealers, drug kingpins, and human traffickers receive the death penalty, because it's the only way you're going to stop it. You know, I went to China and I had a great time, and it was amazing, amazing culture, frankly. And I was with President Xi. 1.4 to 1.5 billion people. I said, you have a drug problem? No. No drug problem. I said, you mean with all these people, you don't have a drug problem? No drug problem. Well, what do you ascribe the reason to, may I ask? I think I knew. He said, swift trial. You know, there's no games with it. These people, you know, when you meet with President Xi, he doesn't say, gee, how'd the Yankees do last night? Oh, we have a lovely day. Lovely day. Isn't it beautiful out? Oh, it's so beautiful, Donald. It's so great. He goes, we will immediately proceed to work. And you know what? I love that. I think that's great. There's no bullshit. Okay? I think that's great. We will proceed. You meet him for 2 minutes. We will proceed. There's no games. Yeah, how did the Boston Red Sox do today? No, they don't talk about that stuff. They talk about other things. But I said to him, so
this might look like a day at the beach, but it's actually a movement towards a plastic-free planet. And what looks like child's play is actually building courage and confidence. We might look like we're chasing adrenaline, but we're learning to see obstacles as opportunities. And what might appear to be aimless wandering, it's really the first steps towards greater heights. Simple digging in the dirt might actually lead to reimagining our neighborhood's food system. And what looks like a campfire could be the spark that ignites a future luminary. These are the spaces where we play, where we gather, where we stretch beyond our comfort zones, where we lose ourselves and find ourselves anew. Which is why Hydro Flask started Parks for All, and why we've invested millions of dollars into creating, maintaining, and increasing access to outdoor spaces around the world. Because it isn't just parks for all, it's wellness, equity, growth, connection, joy, and a thriving planet for all.
You see where in California now they're giving them medical care, education. They're getting treated better than our veterans are treated. And you know, when they see that, they all come. They say, oh, you mean you're going to give us free medical? Can you? This is not even believable. In California, free, and other places, free medical, education. The classrooms, you have people that can't even speak English, and they're sitting all over the classroom. It's killing our country. But we will have a huge dividend to address the homeless crisis in our own country. We're going to save a tremendous amount of money. We're going to take care of them. We will get the homeless into tent cities, shelters, rehab, and mental institutions, and we'll get them off the streets of our cities. And living like that is no good for them, the homeless, and it's no good for the people that have to make our cities great again. You can't make your cities great when you have thousands of people laying all over the streets. To uphold our Second Amendment, I will ask Congress to put a bill on my desk delivering national concealed carry reciprocity. And I will immediately restore free speech in America. We've lost our free speech. And we've lost our press. We've lost our media. It's so sad what happens to them. They don't report. It's not even what they report. They don't report. They didn't report the Biden stuff. They knew about it. They had the 51 intelligence agents. You saw that? Where they said, yeah, it's Russian disinformation. We don't have to report it. These are corrupt people. This is this. And everybody knew that wasn't true. And we will take care of our amazing veterans. And we did it, you know, for 4 years. We had a 92% rating at the VA, at the vet. 92%. We did a great job. The highest rating by far that they've ever had. On day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content on our children. I will also support parents' rights. Can you believe I have to say that? Can you believe I'm saying I will support parents' rights? Can you imagine 15 years ago saying, I will support parents' rights? So people would look at you and say, this guy's crazy. Parents' rights, of course. Who wouldn't support that? There are people that don't want the parents to have any rights, including the direct election of school principals by the parents, so you can get people that you want. If any principal is not getting the job done, the parents should be able to vote and fire him, get him out, get somebody that will get it done. And I will not give 1 penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate. Crazy. We did a great job, but we didn't mandate anything. The Democrat governors would run their states, and generally they did those mandates, and they were disasters. And a lot of them, they really did it right, Republican governors, when you look at what happened. And I will tell you another thing that people can't even believe. I will keep men out of women's sports, okay? No, did you ever hear of anything like that? You saw the other day the weightlifter and this young woman, 19-year record. Well, I don't know what it is, 200 and some odd pounds. It's a lot. It's a lot for a man or for a woman to lift, but it's a lot. And this record stood woman's record for years, 19 years or something. And she got over the barbell. They put like a little tiny ounce on one side, ounce on the other. This thing was, if you beat it by an ounce, you have the world record. And she got up there and, should I do it? I'm going to do it. She couldn't do it. Then a guy came along who happens to be a woman now, according to the laws of our country. And he looked at it. They said, have you lifted before? Not really. Let's take a look. He looks at it, goes, he has the record by like 90 pounds or something. Like, it is so stupid. It is so unfair. The swimmer you know about, right? The swimmer. She's a great swimmer. Great, great, great swimmer. She's going for the world record. She looked up and down. She sees young ladies that she grew up with. They're all great swimmers. They've been from the time they were born, frankly, because That's the way it is. They were good from the time they were born. Jack Nicklaus was a great golfer from the first day he picked up a club. That's the way it goes, right? You know, they were great. She looked up, she sees her friend, she looks down, then she looked to her right, and there's this huge person. Looked like Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt the Stilt. He was 7'1". Now looked like Wilt with a wingspan. He was built like this. She was built, I'm sorry, like this. Most perfect body. I wish I had a body like that. I would have been president.
Would you be interested in having an affair? We can never allow Betty or Pat to get hurt.
Betty's dead.
I didn't do it.
I think you did.
President 20 years ago. If I had this body, it comes down like this. And she looks and says, wow, oh, whoa, I wonder how she swims. And you know, the young lady was very seriously injured. You know that, right? Windburn, because he went by her so fast. The wind was so great. She got a bad windburn, but she'll be okay. Now, do you think, does anybody really believe what's going on in this country? I will sign a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all 50 states. And this is what we must do to save our country from destruction. 2024 is the final battle. If we don't take it over, we're not going to have a country anymore. I want to be positive. I'm just telling you, we're not going to, if we allow them to cheat, because it's the only way they're going to win the election. If we allow them to cheat again, you're not going to have a country. If you put me back in the White House, the reign of corrupt Washington establishment will be over, and America will be a free nation once again. With your support in this election, we are going to complete the mission. We are going to finish what we started. We did so much. We rebuilt our military so much, but we have things to finish. Stand with me, and together we will defeat the globalists, the Marxists, communists, and the rhinos, and we will also defeat the fake news media because they're in on the act. We will evict Joe Biden from the White House, and we will restore the American Republic as the strongest, freest, and most powerful nation the world has ever known. We're going to get ourselves back there, and we're going to get it fast. They know me very well. They're not looking forward to having this happen, but they'll live with it. Actually, we got along with them pretty well. There were certain assets also. You know, other countries need a strong America, not just us. Other countries need a strong America. The USA is a mess. Our economy is crashing. Inflation is out of control. Our banks are failing. Russia has joined with China. Saudi Arabia has joined with Iran. China, Russia, Iran, North Korea have formed together as a menacing and destructive coalition. Our currency is collapsing, and the dollar will soon no longer be the world standard. Can you believe this? And that will be our greatest defeat in over 200 years if we lose the dollar. There's a really good chance that we will. But it won't happen with me, not even a small chance. Just like Russia would never have invaded Ukraine, like China would not have even thought about raiding Taiwan. Wouldn't have happened. They understood. They understood. Can't do that. I used to say that if you took the 5 worst presidents in the history of the United States and added them up, they would not have done near the destruction to our country as Joe Biden and the Biden administration have done. But now I say, if you took the 10 worst presidents, because I really believe that, if you took the 10 worst presidents and added them up, they would not have done to our nation what this man and what this administration has done. And by the way, they're going to, after this speech, they're going to be coming after me big time. We are a failing nation. We are a nation in decline, and that's what's happening. I hate to say it. It makes you sick to say it. And now these radical left lunatics want to interfere with our elections by using law enforcement, and we can't let that happen. With all of this being said, and with a very, very dark cloud hanging over our country, I have no doubt that we will together win the presidential election of 2024 and make America great again. We're going to do it. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. God bless you. God bless you. And now God bless me, because I'm going to take a couple of questions, okay? Where are we going to go with the questions? Do we have a mic at some point? Do we have a little mic? Oh, go ahead, please. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Gerard. Thank you for the shout out early. I appreciate that. One of the issues we are super passionate about at the New Hampshire Federation of Republican Women is women's sports and keeping biological men out of women's sports and out of women's bathrooms.
Right.
We recently released a statement calling out Chris Pappas and Ann Custer for voting against the Protection of Women's and Girls Sports Act. So how do we ensure that women can compete on an even playing field and feel safe when it comes to this issue?
Vote for Trump. That's how you do it. Okay? You're going to have no problem. You got me on that one before it was even an issue. It's the craziest thing. And you know, it's amazing. It's a good statement and or question, but so many people, they hear it, they can't even believe it. They can't even believe what's going on with that subject. No, you vote for Trump. That's going to be totally gone. Okay? Go ahead, please. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. Thank you very much, Frank Dawson, and thank you for the phone call 3 years ago.
I remember that, yeah.
Thank you very much. You are the man.
Thank you very much.
I would like to ask you a question concerning the military.
Okay.
Do you promise the veterans out there, guarantee them that you will make our military stronger as it was before you were pushed out of office, and you will return, and also make a promise to all law enforcement, all legitimate law enforcement, that you will protect and support them all the way?
So I remember the call. I don't know why, but I have a good memory. But I remember the call very much. I appreciate the love with that statement, not just a statement. The answer is yes. We rebuilt our military. We have the finest equipment in the world. You know, we had jets that were 48 years old, where the grandfather was flying them. Some of the bombers, the grandfather was flying them, and now the grandson is flying them. Now we're redoing our military. We redid a lot. As you remember, I made Space Force, and they tried to end it as soon as they came into office, and they had a revolt in the military. We created Space Force. That's the first time in 78 years since the Air Force that something like that's been done, creating a new branch. So the answer is yes, 100%. You will be satisfied. Not only that, the veterans are very satisfied, 92%. But now, in other words, we had an approval rating, the VA, of 92%. That's never happened before. That's a real job. You know, we got approved where you can fire sadists and sick people. You know, you couldn't fire them no matter what they did. You couldn't fire because of lots of reasons. I won't blame civil service. I won't blame unions. I won't blame anyone. You couldn't fire them. And we got that done. And we also got it done where you can go out.
ACM Entertainer of the Year.
You can't ride in
Miranda Lambert.
And get your own doctor, and we pay, because some of the veterans, as you know, were online for weeks and months. Some of them became terminally ill, waiting to get just a very simple procedure or prescription. They'd have to wait 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. And we made it, you understand this, those two things were very important. The ability, we fired, I think, 12,000 people. They were sadists. They wouldn't attack these people in prime time, I can tell you. But they were sadists, they were thieves, there's some very bad people. We got rid of them. We actually had that passed in the legislature. They've been trying to do it for 48 years. And then on the other, as you know, that was a big deal. If you have to wait online for any more than 24 hours, you have the right to go out and get a doctor, get yourself taken care of, and we pay the bill. And that worked out unbelievably well. You know that's true. That's why they like us. But the answer is yes, we'll take care of it, okay? Thank you. Good to see you. Okay, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. I'm Christine Peters, also from the New Hampshire Federation of Republican Women.
Good.
And two of the top 3 issues that women are concerned about right now are inflation and the economy. And how do things like the environmental social governance play into
all of the economic issues that are facing women.
Well, they do. And, you know, you have these fanatics, the environmental fanatics. I'm an environmentalist. A lot of you are, you know, you want clean water. We want clean air. Nobody wants dirty air and water and other things. So, but you have to be reasonable. These people are crazy. They're putting windmills all over the place. They're going all over windmills. The birds are, you want to see a bird cemetery? Go under a windmill sometime. And they're made in China, just so you know, and causing a lot of problems, very expensive. But I will say this, we will take care of this inflation by going and drilling. You know the sign in they have Con Edison in New York, utility. They used to have a sign, dig we must, drill we must. We must drill. And we did some job. We had it down to below $1.87 for a period of time, gasoline. And what a difference that made. When they came in, they closed everything down. They got rid of Anwar. Anwar, since Ronald Reagan, they've been trying to. Ronald Reagan couldn't do it. Bush couldn't do it. Nobody could do it. I got it done. The biggest site probably in the world, drilling in Alaska, they ended it the first day of the Biden administration. I mean, you think about it. They ended it the first day of the Biden administration, a site that would have been almost the size of Saudi Arabia, maybe bigger, and they ended it. But we'll do it again. We can do it again. We'll get it done again. When you reduce the price of energy, everything else is going to come down. And when everything else comes down, what we'll be able to do is get the interest rates down, and we're going to get our country back. Because our country, the way it's going right now, is going into a depression. We're going into a depression, like a 1929 type depression. And we're not going to let that happen. But we're going to drill. We're going to get energy down, everything else. When they held it back, the energy became so oppressive, so expensive, that everything went up, and you had inflation at a level that you hadn't seen in 52 years, and it's still horrible. But we're going to bring energy down, way down. We're going to get the interest rates down. We're going to get back to a great life. We're going to strengthen up our military, and we're going to be able to deal with China and Russia and everybody, and they're not going to play with us. They're not going to play with us. Thank you. Okay? Go ahead. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Is it on? Okay. God bless you, President
Thank you
Trump.
very much. God bless you.
My name's Christine. I'm from Atkinson, New Hampshire, and engaging with young voters is crucial. Here in New Hampshire, we have American First warriors like Caroline Levitt. How do you plan to engage with Gen Z voters?
Well, I think we're doing that. And I'll tell you what, you would be shocked, like Charlie Kirk and others, the job that they do with their youth. It's a youth movement. It really is. That's another movement. You would be shocked to see how popular we are on college campuses. Much different than what you read, much different than what you hear. But, you know, one of the things about having this horrible thing take place where 4 years of, we've lived in 4 years of hell in this country in many ways, more ways than you even know. But one of the things is they have shown how bad they are. And we'll be able to do things now to get it straight out. We have to make our cities safe again. We have to clean up our areas. We have to get things going in this country again. They've shown how bad things are. The voting is so dishonest. People see it. People see it. All you have to do is just have a little common sense, and you see the level of dishonesty, because we want strong borders. We want great elections. We want strong elections. We want great education. And all of the things that have happened in the last 4 years have shown how bad these policies are. And it's actually, in a certain way, going to make it much easier for us. Okay, one or two more. Go ahead. Do you have anybody over there? What happened to that man with the mic? Let's go over here.
Hi, my name's Tony. I'm actually here from the Cape, all the way from Cape Cod.
Nice place.
Very nice. I just have a question on election integrity. So we're all here for...
Or lack of integrity.
Thank you. That was going to be my next question.
How
are we going to take back 2020? I know we got 2024, but we need to still work on what happened with 2020. And how are we going to make America great again by taking back the 2020 debacle?
The best thing we can do right now, and there are a lot of people going, you know, working very hard on 2020, because, you know, history, you can't forget history. If you forget, you're doomed to failure in the future. But there are many cases going on right now. You know that. I think you're involved in some of them. But there are many cases going on right now in different states. If you look at Wisconsin, what they found out in Wisconsin, they were one crazy vote away from turning over the election. And they should have turned it over. This was a political whack job that voted the wrong way. And other judges on that panel just excoriated him. But you look at what's happened in some of these states, they get it. They know what happened. But you know what we have to do? Never forget that. I'm not one of these who you have to forget it. So many people say, sir, put it in the background. Put it. You can't forget. Because if you forget, they're going to do it again. What we have to do is we have to win. Because, you know, you're talking about a very short period of time. We have to win, and we have to win big. We have to win. We have to really swamp them. You know, if you swamp them, there's not a thing they can do. There's a level at which they can't do it. And to be honest, we did so well last time, I sort of thought we swamped them, but they used COVID to cheat, among other things. So they used COVID to cheat. We're not going to let that happen, and we're not going to hopefully have any of that. But we have to watch. The most important thing you can do is on election night, meaning election period, I'm sorry to say. You know, France just had an election recently. 36 million votes, all paper ballot. You had voter ID, and it was same day. So you had same day, voter ID, all paper ballot. The election was over at 10 o'clock. The numbers were cast. Everybody went home. Congratulations. There were tears and there was joy, you know, and that's what we should do. Same day voting. Because when you have voting that lasts for 44 days and everybody's looking around and moving things around and why is this truck here? What are those things that are moving in and moving out? People have to have confidence in elections. People have to have confidence. The problem is we have a lot of people without courage. That includes judges. We have judges that looked and they said, oh boy, I'm not turning this over. They didn't have courage. They didn't have courage to do what should have been done. But we can never forget that. And it just, a lot of people are continue on. We have to win though now. Now we have one coming up and we have to win like never before. We have to get more votes than anybody ever got. And we have to watch those polling places, stand over those. You know, they threw our people that were watching, our poll watchers, they call them, they had thugs, in many cases, throwing them out of the room. And these were good people. And they'd say, I'm a poll watcher. Get out of here. Get the hell out of here. I mean, they intimidated these people. And it was just such a horrible, corrupt election. We have to have courage. And if we don't have courage, you're not going to have a country. I love your question. I love your question. Now we have to win, and we have to win bigger than ever before, and we'll get it all straightened out. Okay, we'll do one more. How about one more? Go ahead. Now, this is a bad question, or if I don't give a great answer, I'll do another one. Because, you know, Elton John said, encores are very dangerous. You do a fantastic concert. Everyone's going crazy. Then you do an encore of a song. It's good. Then you do another encore, and the song doesn't work. And you leave. Everyone said, what a rotten job. But you're never going to say that about Trump, right? Let's go.
President Trump, my name is Brendan, and I would just like to know, what is your plan for dealing with the growing threat of North Korea?
North Korea has been a very good example of what intelligence is. I got along great with Kim Jong-un. We had a very tough start. I called him Little Rocket Man. I called him Rocket Man. I called him lots of things. He called us. And then one day I got a phone call and they said, you know, we want to get together. And the Olympics in South Korea was coming up. Nobody bought it. They weren't selling anything. And all of a sudden, I got North Korea to participate in the Olympics, and the thing sold out like in 2 days. It was incredible. We did a great job with North Korea. We will be able to deal with North Korea. I don't think this administration will be able to deal with North Korea. Okay, one more. Go ahead, one more. Yes, ma'am.
President Trump, I believe most Americans can agree that the radical left's defund the police movement was destructive to our police force.
It's still going on too, by the way.
Absolutely. When you are president, what will be done to correct the getting our police up to par with proper training, with proper numbers, and get them back on track?
So you're talking to the right person. We are taking care of our police. I did, when I was in office, we had billions of dollars worth of Army equipment, Marine equipment, naval equipment, billions in storage rooms all over the United States. And Obama didn't want to get it out because he said it looked too tough. It didn't look good to give it. I said immediately, get it out. I gave billions and billions of dollars. You know what I'm talking about. All of this ex-military equipment. It was incredible. And for safety, including trucks that were armor plated, I gave it all to the police. We got it out. It was sitting there drawing dust, but very valuable stuff. We took care of our police. We are going to take care of our police, and we're going to make sure that we support our police, because our police can solve the problems of our cities instantaneously if you let them do their job. And we love our police, and we love our firemen and everybody else that does. But we have to support them, and we can't have them be afraid that if they use one wrong word, their life is ruined. We can't let that happen. And one other thing, they do an incredible job. And you have bad apples. Every once in a while, something happens. It shouldn't happen. And we have to understand things like that can happen. We have to support our police. These are great American patriots. They used to do a job. Now they're not allowed to do the job. We have to allow, especially in our cities that are rotting and decaying, we have to let our police back. We have to let them do the job that only they can do. They're fantastic people, and we are with them, and we're going to help fund them. We're not defunding. We're going to fund our police. Thank you. Great question. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you. This is an incredible place. This was a great day. I enjoyed it so much. I want to thank Steve and all of these incredible endorsers, because that's a record-setting endorse. But I want to thank you all. God bless you all. We'll be back. God bless you all. That's good.